Welcome to Let's Get Real with Tina, Bill.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is Let's Get Real, and I'm Tina Bill. So I'm going to dive right in today because I want to continue to encourage you about your dreams, your inventions, your songs, your books, your music, your maybe you're an engineer and you have a plan for an amazing new building design or whatever it may be. So guys, I want to talk to you about this. It's so cool because I think probably because I love chocolate, that's why it's so cool. Anyway, I want to tell you the story of Milton Hershey. So, you know, Hershey bar and oh my goodness, Reese's and all that yummy stuff. Or is it Reese's? Anyway, we're not going to argue over that. So Milton Hershey was born on September 13th, 1857 in a farmhouse near the central Pennsylvania village of Deary Church. Milton was in the fourth grade when his Mennonite father, Henry Hershey, found his son a position as a printer's apprentice in Gap, Pennsylvania. Milton later became an apprentice to a candy maker in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and candy making became a passion which Milton grew to love. In 1876, when Milton was only 18 years old, he opened his own candy shop in Philadelphia. The shop was there for 6 years and then it closed, and Milton moved to Denver, Colorado, where he worked with a caramel manufacturer and learned caramel making. So in 1886, Milton Hershey moved back to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and started the successful Lancaster Caramel Company. All right, guys, are you excited so far? I am. I love this story. In 1893, Milton Hershey attended the college International Exposition, where he bought a German chocolate making machine and began making chocolate-coated caramels. In 1894, Milton started the Hershey Chocolate Company and produced Hershey's chocolate caramels, breakfast cocoa, sweet chocolate, and baking chocolate. He sold his caramel business and then concentrated on chocolate making. Oh my goodness. Are you guys hungry yet? The Hershey's Chocolate Company has made or currently owns many famous Hershey's chocolate candies, including Almond Joy and Mounds, Cadbury, Hershey's Cookies and Cream, Hershey Milk Chocolate, Almond Bar, Hershey's Nugget Chocolates. I mean, the list goes on, guys. Kit Kat, Reese's, M&M's, Nutrageous, Whoppers, Twizzlers, and York Peppermint. I mean, it just goes on, guys. So the point I want to bring up with this particular story is this kid was in fourth grade. And you know what I love about his dad? Something that I have always embraced as a parent. I don't look at age. I don't look at the status quo for my kids, my family, my thoughts, my ideas, because you know what? Age is something that my child may be ready to do something at 4, 5, 6 years old, and your child may not be ready until they're 10, or vice versa. And there is nothing wrong with that. But this father saw a child in fourth grade with great potential, and he began to work with that child's potential, putting him in positions only to prosper him and to help him grow. And there is a story I watched on the History Channel about Mr. Hershey, and he had the idea of making the chocolate, and he took it to a scientist, a guy, like a food scientist guy, and he was like, hey, I need to be able to make this chocolate in this particular way. And the guy was like, well, there's no way. And he kept working with actual milk. And he's like, it's not going to happen. And Mr. Hershey was like, it's going to happen. And you're either going to invent it and figure it out, or I'm going to hire somebody else that can, because I just know, like, the guy just had this gut feeling. He just had this intuition from the Lord, because I don't believe that there are intuitions for inventions and ideas that come from Satan, obviously. So any idea that we get, or invention or creative idea, only comes from God. So, but he knew deep down that this is possible and this could happen. And you know what? That food scientist, what I'm going to call him, He actually had a light bulb pop on one day and he says, oh my goodness. And he used powdered milk to make this happen. And I would have loved to have been in the room that day when he tells Mr. Hershey, I think I've got it. And Mr. Hershey comes over, he's like, what is it? What is it? And he's like, powdered milk. And here it is. And it's like, bam, I bet they had a party. I mean, wouldn't you? So anyway, this wonderful, yummy chocolate was made. And, but it wouldn't have been made if Mr. Hershey wouldn't have said no. I know it can be made, even though he was being told by the expert. Okay. Mr. Hershey didn't actually make the chocolate himself at that moment. He had this guy, he brought this scientist guy come in. Hey, come on in. I need you to make this because I have this idea and I know it's going to work. And the guy's like, no, it's not going to work. And he's like, yeah, it's going to work. I mean, can you imagine? It'd be like telling your doctor, you need to do this surgery. And the doctor's like, it's not possible. And you're like, yeah, it can. Yeah, it is. You just need to figure out how you can do this, but you can do this. Guys, it's all in how we see things. It's perception. It's encouragement. It's creativity. And I love these stories. And then the next idea was super cool. It was the folding chair. Yes, there were chairs outside. There were chairs already. But guys, this one you could fold up. You could take it with you. And the cool thing about it is this inventor invented a little ledge on the back of the chair so you could use it for schools, churches, and other auditoriums. So on July 7th, 1911, an African American named Nathaniel Alexander of Lynchburg, Virginia, patented a folding chair. And according to his patent, Nathaniel Alexander designed his chair to be used in schools, churches, and other auditoriums. His design included a bookrest that was usable for the person sitting behind and was ideal for church or choir use. So I wanted to bring this up and talk about this because I just think that it's the coolest, most wonderful idea. So guys, whether your idea is a folding chair or chocolate or a bicycle or a car, I mean, look around. Everything that you see was invented by someone. But you may have a totally new idea. It may be an idea that someone's never known or seen before. Or you could take an already existing product and you can make it even more wonderful. So guys, my podcast today is just to encourage you to open up those ideas and those dreams and let the world see what you have, what God has placed inside of you. Contribute to the world your wonderful ideas and your inventions, your creativity, your art, your books. Whatever that may be, you may be a builder. And, you know, guys, I like watching the shows where they have all these cool little houses. They have underground houses. They have A-frame houses. They have houses obviously made out of wood like log cabin houses. And then they have houses that are just very... what would you say? Very unique. And I love watching those shows because it blows me away, the creativity of the mind of the person who actually brought this thing to life. So those are things that I want you to think about. Is you might say, well, my idea is dumb. Well, you know what? Maybe it is. But maybe you'll have another idea, because this is the thing. Just because you have one idea doesn't mean that that's the only idea. I've had a lot of ideas, and there's been a couple ideas that hasn't been so great. And then there's been a couple of ideas that I've actually had 2 ideas that got knocked off, 2 inventions. And one of the ideas was a specific style, the cross on the jean. Years ago, I used to go sing, and I had a trademark that I just did for myself. I would put a cross on the back of my right leg on my jeans, and everywhere I went, people would come up to me and say, "Oh my gosh, I love your jeans. Where did you get them?" These were not out, guys. I'm telling you, these were not out. It was my idea, and I'm telling you, I came up with this idea first. And so I actually had an opportunity to go to Jersey and then New York City, and I actually spoke with a person. She was a buyer and a designer that worked for a particular company, and I began to share my sketches and drawings and my patterns with her. And then all of a sudden, after months of communicating with her, she was in New York and I came back home, communicating with her, and I still have those emails. all of a sudden I received an email from her saying, "Hey, see you later. I'm moving," and in other words, she was just completely ending our friendship. And I found that very strange, and my heart sunk, and I literally just felt sick. And 6 months later, my daughter and I were in a country and western store here in Tulsa that sells clothing. And she walked by this huge table that had all these jeans on it. And I looked at her, she said, "Mom," and I looked at her from across, the way there, and she just looked sick. And I was like, "What?" And she said, "Mom, come here." And I walked over there, and, whether you believe it or not, it's irrelevant. I don't really care. I've got proof. But what I'm trying to get across to you is this really happened to me and was very discouraging. There was the actual pattern. And I have the pattern right now. I could literally go over and get it. It's in my closet. The pattern of this particular cross was on these jeans, and these were like $120 jeans. So this wasn't like just some flimsy little thing. These were name brand designer jeans that were very expensive, and there was my actual cross design. And not only was that one on there were 2 other ones that I had designed and sent her. I have them in the email. And I literally got tears in my eyes and I started to cry. I was blown away and shocked, and I could not believe, first of all, that someone would steal my idea. I guess the encouraging thing, though, it's like I always try to find something positive to take away, was that it let me know that I did have a wonderful idea. And the idea that I had went on to be very brilliant and made them a lot of money. So it did help me to believe in myself somewhat. So guys, again, I just want to encourage you, don't let those dreams die in the graveyard. Don't let those inventions be uninvented. You invent, you dream, you write, you build, and you be that amazing creator that God created you to be. All right? Until next time, just know that I love you.